What up guys, it's Bula, and this is episode 2 of the Advanced Daredevil Guide. And without further ado, let's get straight into it. I briefly went over some fundamentals in episode 1, but in this video, we'll be going over some of the highly requested topics. And I'll go into further detail to make sure you can master your playstyle and slingshot through the ranks as Daredevil. In episode 1, we went over the opener combo, but there's something I want to show you called the reverse opener. And here's how you do it. I'll show you this in full speed and then we'll break it down. First things first, make sure your enemy is marked and you're in chain range. And as soon as you chain, you want to immediately dash into cross, followed by a throw and cross. And here I'm going to show you some in-game examples. This is really good for building armor really fast. If they're already within chain distance, I do think this is the better combo to use. In episode 1, I talked about b-hopping from the ground, but there's actually a way to b-hop from off of walls, and it's the same exact concept. So what you're doing is you're latching and then jumping midway, and then every time you land, you want to jump again. And now let's get into the next segment.
One Daredevil tip versus every hero?
Now, for our first 4 matchups, we have these tanks, which can be troublesome for Daredevil. Target party is low and you want to avoid engaging them. They have the best CC in the game to take you down. I do want to quickly speak on Penny since she's one of the hardest counters. Unfortunately, Daredevil cannot simply walk up and break the nest, so for her case, you need to work with your team, taking necessary angles to break the nest to allow you to operate on the backline. Bucky has a hook and cook combo, so always keep track of his cooldowns. You can contest the Bucky, but most of the time he's sitting with his backline, so make sure you bait out hook before committing. Wolverine isn't a priority target, even though he doesn't have threatening damage. If he grabs you into their backline, it's back to the spawn room. These are some of the most toxic DPS to deal with as Daredevil. Engaging them head on is never a good idea, and most of the time you want to contest their off angles, but be sure not to full commit unless it's a for sure kill. Onto the support section, we're starting with Cloak and Dagger and Gambit. These are high priority targets, C&D being the easiest to kill, but Gambit can be tricky. He has a lot of self-sustain, insane burst, and movement. The biggest tip I can give is to go for the support that can actually die. If the enemy has a C&D and a Gambit, I'm going for the C&D first. These guys don't have CC and they're fairly easy kills for Daredevil. But for heroes that fly such as Ultron, later in this video I'll show you combos to take down these aerial fighters. Last but certainly not least, we have CC of Doom. For Loki, it's just a matter of getting his runes out. But for Invis, Luna, and Mantis, you need to always have Deflect available on your engages. And remember, most of the time you won't leave with a kill on your first engage. And sometimes in cases of triple support, you won't get a kill until your third engage. It all comes down to patience and execution. Now let's talk about engaging and disengaging. In this clip, I'll show you an example of how I engage in the backline, how I disengage, and then re-engage for the kill. First things first, I'm taking my flank route on the far right, and I'm scoping the area. Now that I've identified my targets, I'm just waiting for setup and I'm approaching the backline. I'm waiting for my team to begin the fight before I go in, and I'm immediately planning my exit. At this point, I've alleviated a lot of pressure from my front line, and I'm just going to do a quick reset and go right back in. Here I'm targeting the Invid, and knowing that she can put down a shield for herself, I'm not going to use throw knowing that it'll get blocked, so I'm going to opt for a chain combo instead. I'm going to show you another example, same thing, far right flank, I'm going for my setup. Identifying my targets, and then I'm going to plan my execution, and I'm going to plan my exit strategy. I see a Luna, I see a Hawkeye, and I see a Bucky. So I'm going to take a soft engage. I can hear Bucky charging up his hook, so I'm going to wait. I'm going to re-engage here, use my deflect back out. Now with applying that pressure and playing my life, I gave my team a chance to walk up and presented this opportunity for a massive brutal. Now for this, I'm going to demonstrate a transition from a brawl to a flank. This is going to be essential to your gameplay loop, because in theory, you want to flank first, disengage, go back into another engage, but if you're caught waiting for abilities, you have to brawl for a little bit, and then re-engage directly from the front line into the back line, meaning you don't always have to take a flank route. I'm going to show you an aerial view example of how an engage should look. Earlier we spoke about matchups and how you should always contest a DPS off angle. This is a perfect example of contesting an off angle DPS and then continuing to kill the backline. Let's talk about combos on flyers. Now although Daredevil's priority is not going for flyers, it doesn't hurt to know how. So essentially what you're doing is the reverse opener. A quick tip for Ultron is you want to try to force his dash first. A good way to do that is by using latch on him. A lot of you have been asking why you're not getting 2 Fury back on your dash. It's because you've been using cross too early and it cancels out the dash. So what you need to do is make sure that there's a full contact in the dash before you use cross. And that should solve the reason why you're not getting 2 Furies. Our next question is, what are the best times to use chain or throw? Well, let's first go into the differences. Throw hits multiple targets, it's faster and has longer range. But meanwhile, chain can hit multiple targets if they're stacked, goes through shields, has more damage, and builds more overshield. To build max shield with throw, it's going to require 3 total throws, versus chain only requiring 2 hits for max shield. Knowing the capabilities of your attack should definitely help determine what you're going to need in specific moments. For those who don't know, chain has a sweet spot for when it comes to its attack. The closer you are, the lower you need to aim. The furthest it can go is 5 meters, so keep that in mind. And here's an example of what not to do versus an example of how to. Here's an example of attacking from 5 meters and where I'm aiming versus how I'm attacking when I'm up close. Next is how to deal with a group team running Penny and Rocket. Since Daredevil dive becomes severely limited against Penny setups, you have to soft engage and frontline brawl until the opportune moment opens up for a kill. Now, unless you have a Warlord dedicating to destroy each Penny nest, your dives will have to be stretched into phases. Now after poking out the front line and brawling a little bit, I've eventually made my way to the back line and I'm going for a flank engage. Once again having to pull back, but this time I'm going to go top left and see if I can find a crack in the back line. Finally, after several soft engages, we were able to secure an elimination. So now we just clean up. I'm trying to kill the Penny, but unfortunately she's doing Olympic winning gymnastic moves on the wall. And after those shenanigans, I back up to the objective to help clear up with my team for the first point. Next question is about Daredevil mirrors. Most of the time you don't want to interact with a Daredevil. The goal is to trade backlines, but there are times where you need to work back to your supports to peel before going on your own dive. Daredevil ones take way too much resources and can last way too long. So if you guys run into each other on your flank routes, try your best to not commit the fight, since that is a low priority target and that time is best spent on the backline. Here's another example of a Daredevil mirror and how I match his ult to trade backlines. And that's going to be it for episode 2 of the Advanced Daredevil Guide. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you were able to learn some things to help you master Daredevil. Once again, anything that I missed in the first 2 episodes, be sure to let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe to help the algorithm push these videos out so I can keep them coming. And I wanted to take a little bit of time out to say thank you so much for all the love and support on these videos. It means everything to me that it's been helping you guys out. Thanks for almost 2,000 subscribers on YouTube and already half 1,000 follows on Twitch. If you guys want to join the Discord so you never miss a notification when I upload or go live, be sure to join that with the link in the description. Thanks again guys, and I'll see you in the next one.